the longest animals ever documented may not be whales at all. Some siphonophores, creatures with no brain, no eyes, no spine, have been observed stretching over 45 meters. Just drifting. It lives in a part of the ocean most people have never considered. Below where sunlight can feed a plant, above where the darkness becomes absolute. A permanent twilight, running from 650 to 3,300 feet beneath the surface. The animals here don't just survive these conditions, they thrive in them, and have for hundreds of millions of years, long before a single human being existed. We've now shared this planet with them for 300,000 years and still cannot fully explain how most of them operate. Down here, life runs on a different set of rules. This is Mesopelagic. In this video, we're going through what lives here, how it survives. We're going down. To understand what lives in the Twilight Zone, you first have to understand what lives above it, because the Twilight Zone runs on what the surface world discards. The sunlit ocean above 200 meters is where photosynthesis begins and where the ocean's food production originates. The engine driving that is microscopic. Phytoplankton, organisms smaller than the width of a human hair, convert sunlight and carbon dioxide into organic material near the surface. That single process is the foundational input for nearly every food chain in the ocean. Without it, every non-chemosynthetic community in the deep sea starves. At the very surface, some organisms live right at the boundary between air and water. The Portuguese man-of-war is one, drifting on the ocean surface, using wind as its engine while tentacles up to 100 feet long trail below it to feed. It does not navigate, it goes where the atmosphere pushes it, a passive predator operating at the boundary between two worlds. Dip below 200 meters and photosynthesis stops. Not gradually, functionally. Light is still technically present, but too scattered and weakened to drive the chemistry that plants require. Nothing in the Twilight Zone grows from sunlight. Every calorie here arrives from above, in the form of marine snow. Marine snow is the constant, slow fall of organic debris from the sunlit ocean. Dead photoplankton, fecal pellets, shed mucus, the fragmented remains of organisms broken apart higher up. Individual particles are too small to see. Collectively, they drift through the water column like ash. The entire nutritional foundation for an ecosystem extending hundreds of miles in every direction. By the time marine snow reaches the seafloor, much of its nutritional value has already been extracted by bacteria and zooplankton at intermediate depths. The Twilight Zone intercepts the snow while it is still relatively rich. The animals here have spent millions of years building bodies that extract maximum value from a resource that, given how many mouths depend on it, is extremely scarce. And what survives on almost nothing for millions of years looks nothing like what you'd expect. In a food-limited environment, the most consequential adaptation is energy conservation. Every calorie spent swimming against a current is a calorie that cannot go toward growth or reproduction. The Twilight Zone is dominated by animals that have taken this logic to its furthest conclusion. They drift. The gossamer worm, genus Tomopteris, is a polychaete, meaning many-bristled. Unlike its terrestrial relatives that move through soil, Tomopteris navigates open water, undulating paddle-like appendages to steer through currents rather than fight them. Its body is almost entirely transparent. Under ROV lighting, it appears to be glass containing moving parts. But transparency creates a specific pressure when prey is bioluminescent. Many of the small animals Tomopteris consumes produce light through chemical reactions in their tissue. And inside a transparent body, that light continues after the prey is dead and being digested. A glowing stomach is a signal to larger predators. Tomopteris manages this primarily through speed, consuming prey fast enough that the bioluminescence fades before drawing attention. The bloody belly comb jelly arrived at the same solution structurally. Its body cavity is saturated with deep red pigmentation. Red wavelengths are absorbed by seawater at this depth. Red down here registers as black, Any bioluminescence from prey being digested is captured by the body wall before it can escape. The jelly becomes optically invisible while actively feeding. Then there is Carinaria japonica, a pelagic snail that swims upside down, using a large transparent fin to propel itself through the dark while hunting prey below it. A body plan that evolved for hard surfaces, now operating in open water with no surface in any direction. Siphonophores are colonies, hundreds of individual creatures fused together, each one performing a different job. Some handle movement, some handle feeding, some handle buoyancy. If part of the colony is damaged, the rest keep functioning. They reproduce by cloning themselves. Some colonies have perished for decades, continuously adding new members as others die. The dinner plate jelly approaches prey with its tentacles extended forward rather than trailing behind it. A bell-first approach generates a pressure wave that prey detect and flee before contact. Tentacles first. The jelly closes distance before anything registers that it is moving. But not everything down here drifts. Some of it chases. The Twilight Zone's most formidable active predators are not its largest animals. Cephalopods, squid, octopus, and cuttlefish are mollusks, relatives of snails and clams with a body plan that has been radically restructured. The mantle streamlined into a propulsion system, the foot developed into 8 or more arms, the shell largely eliminated. What remains is an animal built almost entirely for speed, camouflage, and sensory processing. They're not at the top of this zone. That position belongs to something that descends through it from above, and we'll get to it. At 650 meters, one octopus species has taken transparency to its logical extreme. The glass octopus is roughly 40 centimeters long and nearly transparent. Only the eyes and digestive tract are visible through the body wall. At the surface, cells require pigmentation as protection from UV radiation. That radiation does not reach mesopelagic depths. Without the pressure maintaining it, the pigment disappeared over evolutionary time. The glass squid uses transparency as its default state but abandons it instantly under threat. It floods its mantle with ink and ammonia in seconds, turning opaque red. The ammonia is less dense than seawater, providing buoyancy that compensates for the absence of a gas-filled swim bladder. A single substance serves simultaneously as camouflage, armor, and flotation. Squid also use ink as decoys. When fleeing a predator, a squid can release a structured mass of ink into the water column. Not a simple cloud, but a shaped form in the rough dimensions of the squid itself, left suspended while the real animal escapes. Some have been documented resembling comb jellies. Others approximate the trailing form of siphonophores. The predator invests in attacking a decoy. The squid is already gone. Juvenile swordtail squid grow tail formations that double their body length, mimicking the shape and movement of siphonophores. Predators avoid siphonophores because their tentacles sting. Their bodies are mostly water and they offer almost no nutritional value. And that avoidance extends to the squid by association. When they reach adulthood, the tail disappears. The disguise is no longer needed. Adult chirotoothed squid are built to ambush. They carry 2 feeding tentacles separate from their 8 arms, and they can shoot them out and retract them in fractions of a second. The tips are lined with suckers that grip on contact. By the time the prey's body registers what happened, it's already over. Every animal in the Twilight Zone faces the same pressure. Predators below look upward and see everything above them silhouetted against the faint light filtering down from the surface. In open water, there's nowhere to hide. Every animal at mid-depth is backlit at all times. 3 completely separate solutions evolved in dozens of unrelated species. The first is counter-illumination. Animals like the firefly squid carry rows of light-producing organs along their undersides. As they swim upward and the water gets brighter, they increase the intensity of those lights to match. From below, the silhouette disappears. The United States Navy tested the same principle during World War II, mounting lights on the undersides of aircraft to blend them into the sky from below. The animals down here had been doing it for hundreds of millions of years. The second is transparency, and the glass octopus and glass squid we just looked at are the clearest examples of it. No surface, no shadow, no silhouette. The barreleye fish uses transparency differently. Its entire head is a fluid-filled dome, transparent enough to see the brain and nerve endings through it. Inside sit two tubular eyes capped with green lenses, pointed straight up. What appear to be eyes on the front of its face are olfactory organs. The actual eyes are inside the head, looking through the roof. For decades, scientists assumed those eyes were fixed in place. In 2009, researchers at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute filmed a live barrel eye for the first time and watched the eyes rotate forward. The fish hangs motionless in the water column, scanning for silhouettes overhead. The same silhouettes every other animal in this zone has evolved to eliminate. When it spots prey, it tilts upward and tracks. It usually tracks organisms trapped in siphonophore tentacles. The barreleye drifts beneath a colonial predator that can stretch over 30 feet and picks off captured prey. The transparent dome shields its eyes from the stinging cells. A 6-inch fish, rating a siphonophore's kill. The dome that makes all of this possible is so fragile it collapsed every time a barreleye was pulled up in a net. For decades, every specimen scientists recovered was already damaged. No one knew the dome was there until the fish was filmed in the wild. The third is silvering. The cutlass fish has no scales. Its skin is covered in microscopic crystals that act as vertical mirrors, reflecting the surrounding water rather than absorbing light. From the side, in natural conditions, the fish is nearly invisible. The oarfish uses the same system. A creature that can reach 30 feet in length and almost certainly inspired centuries of sea serpent sightings, reduced to near invisibility by the same principle. The hatchetfish runs all three at once. Its body is only a few millimeters wide. From head on, it essentially disappears. Its crystals scatter light downward toward photophores on its belly, which adjust their brightness to match the light coming from above. From below, there's nothing to see. At the deepest part of its range, those same belly lights may also confuse predators searching upward from below. Squid and octopus do this differently. Rather than crystals, they use proteins called reflectins that can be rearranged in real time to change how the skin reflects light. The animal controls which wavelengths it reflects, in which direction, and on what time scale. The cockeyed squid solved two threat directions at once by growing two structurally different eyes in the same head. The large eye faces upward, wide and tubular, built to collect as much downwelling light as possible, with a yellow lens that may help it see through a prey animal's own counter-illumination. The small eye faces straight down, scanning the darkness below for bioluminescent flashes. Two eyes, two jobs, nothing gets past either one. And all of it, every system, every adaptation, exists because of what happens next. Every adaptation in this video, the transparency, the counter-illumination, the mimicry, the colonial structures, comes down to one thing. There isn't enough food at any single depth to support everything living here. The ones that survived were the ones that ascended. Every night at dusk, the Twilight Zone empties upward. Jellyfish, siphonophores, squid, lanternfish, the largest migration on Earth by biomass, rise toward the surface to feed on the photoplankton they can't reach during daylight. Their predators follow: sharks, larger squid, deep-sea fish. The whole food web rises together, feeds through the night, and returns before dawn. None of this is a choice. These animals are hardwired to follow a specific light level through the water column. As darkness falls at the surface, that light level shifts upward, and they rise with it. As dawn approaches, it drops back into the deep, and they follow. A biological reflex running on the same schedule for millions of years. Lanternfish make up the biggest share of the migration. They are the base of the food chain for most of what lives below the surface, including the Humboldt squid, which gathers at the surface in large shoals to hunt them. Humboldts don't hunt quietly. Their entire bodies flash red and white while they feed. The exact function remains debated, though it may help the group coordinate. When the lanternfish runs out, they turn on each other. Squid remains have been found in roughly a quarter of examined stomachs, They appear to use cannibalism as a growth strategy, and it works. A Humboldt can reach over a meter long in under a year. The migration does something else too. Every animal that feeds at the surface and returns to depth carries carbon down with it, in its tissue, its waste, its body when it dies. That carbon gets pulled out of the upper ocean where it would interact with the atmosphere and locked away in deep water for decades, sometimes centuries. The Twilight Zone isn't just an ecosystem. It is one of the planet's main carbon storage systems, running every night, powered by animals most people have never heard of. And something else uses this migration, not to hide, to hunt. The sperm whale is the largest toothed predator on the planet. Males reach 57 tons. They carry the largest brain of any animal ever recorded, up to 9 kilograms, and roughly a third of their entire body length is forehead, not bone, but a wax-filled organ called the spermaceti organ, holding up to 1,900 liters. The spermaceti organ's confirmed function is echolocation, focusing and amplifying those clicks into a directed beam, pointed at the exact location of their prey. But some researchers have proposed it also acts as a ballast system. Warm the wax with blood and the whale becomes more buoyant. Cool it by drawing in cold seawater on descent, and the wax solidifies, making the whale denser. The whale sinks without muscular effort. The hypothesis is debated, but if correct, it would make the spermaceti organ one of the most remarkable multifunctional structures in the animal kingdom. They've been recorded diving to depths of 2,000 to 3,000 meters, holding their breath for over an hour. What they are hunting at those depths is squid, primarily the giant squid, which can grow over 40 feet long and is so elusive it has rarely ever been seen alive in its natural habitat. The whales carry the evidence back up with them. Their stomachs have contained thousands of squid beaks. The one part of a squid a sperm whale cannot digest. Over time, a waxy secretion forms in the intestine around those indigestible beaks, a substance called ambergris. It occasionally washes ashore and has been traded as one of the most valuable materials on Earth. Perfumers used it as a fixative for hundreds of years. For most of that time, nobody knew it came from inside a whale. The skin tells the rest of the story. Circular scars up to 4 inches across cover the heads and mouths of sperm whales. Giant squid suckers are lined with serrated rings sharp enough to cut through blubber. Some whales carry hundreds of these marks. The largest scars suggest something that did not go down without a fight. Down in the dark, sperm whales hunt by producing clicks through structures called phonic lips. Those clicks are reflected off the skull, and they are loud. Estimated at 230 decibels at the source, they rank among the loudest biological sounds ever recorded. Some researchers believe the clicks at close range are powerful enough to stun prey before the whale even makes contact. That is unconfirmed, but the physics does not rule it out. The scars exist, the beaks exist, but no one has ever witnessed what happens between them. Sperm whales have been diving into that darkness for 20 million years. Do you think we'll ever truly understand what happens down there? Or is some of it meant to stay hidden? Leave your answer in the comments. Find out why the ocean goes silent when the sperm whale hunts. That video is on screen now. Subscribe for more Below the Blue. See you in the deep.